I became a firefighter at 18. In hindsight, that was probably a little too early. This job has changed me a lot, for the better and also for the worse. After 12 years on the job, in today's video, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I would say to 18-year-old me if I could sit down with that kid when I started this job. In the academy, they teach you a lot. You're constantly drilling ground ladders, stretching lines, medical directives, and making sure you're physically prepared to do the job. Those skills allow you to perform the tactical work required to serve your community, protect your crew, and most importantly, make sure that you don't get hurt. But there's a lot of things that they don't teach you. Some of it may be because it's overlooked. The priority is on hands-on skills. Some of it may be because we don't yet have the knowledge, desire, or ability to navigate it properly. They teach us how to force a door and cut a car apart, but they never tell us how to feel. I was never given the tools to navigate the emotional baggage this work carries. I had to figure it out on my own. I'd love to say that I did it with grace, but the truth is it took me years to learn how to work through, integrate, and compartmentalize the atrocities that I was seeing almost every shift. As first responders, we see more traumatic events in a single month than most civilians see in an entire lifetime. That carries weight, and it requires a skill set of its own. Another major oversight is learning the skill of therapeutic communication. It was briefly touched on in paramedic school, but in my entire career as a firefighter, it's barely ever been mentioned. Therapeutic communication is the ability to communicate incredibly hard things in a professional and empathetic way. Here I was, barely 20 years old, having to tell a man married for 60 years that his partner was gone forever. I had to do that with no training. It's a skill I've gotten better at over time, but it's never gotten easier. There's this one moment that always comes to mind. Years ago, we went to what was considered a routine call, because in our line of work, doing CPR is routine. After working on this elderly woman in the living room of her 600 square foot apartment, we received a TOR, or termination of resuscitation, from the base hospital physician. We did what we always do, cleaned her up, restored her dignity, and then we met her daughter at the mouth of the apartment door, who had rushed over at 4 a.m. to find out that her mom was no longer here. The shriek she let out, something I can only compare to that of a wounded animal, still rings in my ears and sends a cold chill down my spine every time I think of it. The fire service prepares us for a lot. That feeling is not one of those things. The next thing I wasn't ready for was the passion or lack thereof from certain members. When you go through the hiring process, you think you're joining the elite of the elite. Tip of the spear firefighters who eat, sleep, and breathe the job. But the reality is very different. Just like there are teachers who don't like teaching and pilots who hate to fly, there's firefighters who would rather do anything than run a call. At first, that was hard to understand, but you quickly learn you have two choices. You either move past it and own your oath, showing up as the firefighter you'd want showing up for your family on their worst day, or you let it eat you alive. Because trust me, from personal experience, it will. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. I used to shy away from my desire to be the best firefighter possible, but after a few years, I started to wear it like a badge of honor. There's a standard that I hold myself to, and I stand behind it. If that rubs someone the wrong way, that's on them. Don't ever let someone take a day of your career away from you. Make it what you want it to be. And remember, just because others don't love the job, it is okay to love the job. At the end of the day, if someone can say he or she was a good firefighter and cared, that's all that matters. Another thing I tell rookie me is how much this job changes your outlook on the world. When you start, you wear a beautiful pair of rose-colored glasses. But the reality of this work is that you'll quickly see the dark underside of humanity. Before you know it, those glasses are scratched and cracked. Chronic exposure to addiction, violence, destruction, and poverty starts to shift how you see people and situations. Even though this is only a small representation of society, we see it so often that the world can start to feel cruel, unfair, and hopeless. Acknowledgement is step one. Don't let the darkness consume you. There is a lot of good and beauty in this world. Us as first responders, we just have to look a little bit harder to find it than most. I knew sacrifice was part of this job when I signed up for it. We always hear that first responders risk their lives, but that's only part of it. You'll sacrifice sleep, you'll sacrifice time with family, you'll sacrifice holidays, but the biggest sacrifice is the piece of your soul that you give to this job. It will change you, period. You will never be the person that started this career. The blissful ignorance most people walk around with is something you won't have anymore. You'll sacrifice mental and physical health. Chronic stress becomes a silent killer, something we all know too well when firefighters pass away just years after retirement. You'll sacrifice peace. Hypervigilance becomes constant, reinforced by years of preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. All this sounds heavy, and it is, but understand this. Someone has to do this job. Willingly sacrificing these things in service to others is one of the most admirable acts there is in humanity. And if we build strategies, exercise, hobbies, regulating practices, we can protect ourselves. You give a lot to this job, but please don't let it take everything. The final thing I'd tell 18-year-old me is the most important. We talk a lot about the negatives, the memories, the shift in perception, the prevalence of post-traumatic stress. That's a very real and complex issue, one we need to keep addressing with better tools, support, and honest conversations just like this. But there's another side of the job that we don't talk about enough, and that is post-traumatic growth. We've all heard the phrase, iron sharpens iron. Hard experiences, when processed properly, can forge us into a stronger alloy of the person that we once were. That understanding helped me find meaning in the chaos. I have a deeper appreciation for life now. I hold my loved ones closer. My own struggles push me to create this platform, to share stories like this, to help, to connect with people just like you. None of that would have been possible without the pain I had to work through. The reason I run marathons, do Ironmans, and show up for myself every day is because I know that there are people out there that would literally die to have the opportunities that I have. I know, because I meet them on calls every single shift. This job has taken a lot from me, but it's also given me perspective I never would have had otherwise. Pain is life's greatest teacher if you let it. Don't let this job consume you. Use it as a lever to become a better, stronger, and more compassionate person. If 18-year-old Mitch were sitting here right now, that's the no BS reality of the job I'd tell him he signed up for. I'd also tell him he'll be happy with the decision because the fire service gave him everything he has. And I'd leave him with this. Service to others is the highest calling. This job won't pay like others will. It will test you more than most, but it will matter. You will impact lives, and that's what makes this the greatest job on earth.